Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If you're new to our channel, we are Tiffany and Craig from High Season, a social media agency that helps business owners, content creators, and marketers step their social media game up and break the algorithm. Today we are getting all into the most important thing here, right? Strategy. Particularly the 2022 Instagram strategy. So this is our strategy as well that we are handing over to you so that you can steal it and implement it into your own system this year. Now, everything that we're going to be talking about today is rooted truly in the Instagram algorithm from the things that we've experienced with our clients and from the things that Instagram has told us. So 2021 probably was the most open and vocal.
Easily.
I would say that Instagram has been, right? In terms of really giving these tips and hidden things that used to be mysteries and really revealing them to everybody. So we're taking all of that as well in addition to what we've seen on the platform and sharing them with you today so that you can dominate in 2022. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, or even in the last quarter. It's never too late to adjust, change things, and make it happen for yourself. All right? So without further ado, we're going to jump right in. No fluff, no filler, just
down to business.
Down to business, all the tactics and strategies you need to succeed in 2022. Let's get started.
So before we get started, for all the fundamental groundwork on how to create a social media strategy, that stuff doesn't actually change. So that's things like content categories, finding your audience, finding your niche, all that type of stuff. We've already done a bunch of videos about that, but the specific one you need to check is this one right here. We don't want to repeat it. We're trying to give you all the new stuff for 2022. So let's get into it.
Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do, and arguably the most important, is to review your 2021 insights. You have to have an informed strategy, which means you need to know what was working and what wasn't. And particularly what you're looking at when it comes to these 2021 insights is what was the performance? What performed the best when it comes to reach? So brand awareness, right? We're trying to increase our brand awareness, engagement, and follower conversions. These are the three areas that you really want to nail down in, and you can actually look at that right within the app. So there's software opportunities. If you have software like we use Sprout Social, then you're able to look in there, Planoly, later, anything you're using to publish should generally have reporting with it. But if it doesn't, Instagram has it right there natively inside the app. You just can do this under your Insights tab. So in there, what you're going to be looking for are patterns, because you want to see what is the top performing content so that you can double down on that. And when we say double down, we mean you need to do more of what was working. So create more posts that mirror what performed well for you last year. So for example, if you notice that carousels were always performing the best, or if you notice photos with you in it versus photos with you not in it perform the best, these are the things that you're going to want to pay attention to. Find those patterns and replicate that into your new strategy. And then other patterns you're also looking for is what performed the least, because that's the stuff you're going to want to throw away. And now you either have the option to throw it away altogether if it's not working, or reimagine it. So for example, if you found that your product post, which was like a straight up sell of your product, wasn't performing well, you obviously don't want to not post about your product. You're gonna have to do that. You need to sell, but you need to reimagine how that content is produced or how it's shared. So you can do that by looking at what content was performing well for you, generally speaking, in 2021, and tying that into the actual product sell category, for example. So if you found that static posts of your product didn't perform well, but short video content always did, that static product needs to be an Instagram reel now. It needs to be a short video. It needs to be a product demo, perhaps, or it needs to be someone else using the product and sharing it. That's the kind of considerations that you need to do when you're looking into your 2021 insights, so you can apply all the wins to 2022.
All right, the next thing you need to be focusing on for your 2022 Instagram strategy is optimizing your profile for conversions. So obviously that begins with the bio. So that's all the basic 101 elements that you really should have done, but it's definitely worth a review. So your profile picture, is it attractive? Is it too small? Is it too much text in it? The name itself, that bold section, that is searchable. We've said this a bunch. And, you want to make sure that you're not only the right words are in there for search, but also you need to try and fit in the brand name as well. And then your bio, of course. So what do you do? Who do you serve? What do you offer? Maybe even include your hours. give everybody everything they need to know in that one place. Then you've got your link. So, you want to use something like Linktree, so you can have a social landing page with all of the main elements and add some sort of a CTA in your bio to be like, hey, check all that stuff out below. And then you've got your Instagram stories highlights, of course. Make sure the covers are edited and looking beautiful, and it's not just random photos of the covers that look messy. Now, we've actually gone into a lot of detail with this in this video right here. And we've also got a guide as well that's in the description of that video. And I think it's basically in every video.
It's in every video.
There you go, look at that. Tiff is the queen of YouTube here. And you're able to download that and follow all of that and, go into more details. But bio optimization, super key. And of course, you need to post high quality content. When people come to your page, I feel like we've said this a million times.
And it's just still somehow in the world out there.
The non-high
not
quality...
always working somehow. Like,
right?
You still see, like, I saw something the other day, I think it was like 300 pixels or something on some. I didn't even know how Instagram allowed them to upload it, because I feel like
how
they
do you
stop
get a
you
photo
even.
that bad?
Yeah, I think they stop you though, like from, I swear they did.
They
if they don't, then they should. But I swear there was something where it's like, this isn't high res enough to post. So I didn't even know how they post it. It was like so blurry and weird. But you can't be doing that as a business or a creator. It's just
anything,
or a marketer, anything. It's a no.
It's completely unacceptable. So I won't go on about it, but just high resolution content at all times. The phones now, this is last year's model, and no, the year before. This is 2020's model. This is iPhone 12.
Yes.
This has got 4K like video camera in this thing. This thing's insane. We haven't even remotely even scratched the surface.
No, we don't even using it because we have the other camera.
We have this camera. Yeah. But point being, like, the 2-year-old cell phones are A1 for this stuff. So please make sure your content is high res. And of course, posting consistently. Another thing we're always saying, but bears repeating. The thing about consistency is that it's important because it tells the algorithm, and it also tells followers that you can be relied upon. You are going to be on the app, engaging, using it, and posting, putting out content regularly. But the key thing here is to make sure that you're doing it at a cadence that works for you. Don't try and commit to 7 posts a week, but you can barely do 2. I say this to our consulting clients all the time. Another thing as well is, there's a lot of, I was gonna say wisdom, or just people out there talking about, like, you need to make sure you post every week, 1 reel, 1 carousel, 1. Don't worry about that. Do what you can.
Yeah.
If you put too much pressure on yourself to go and produce a reel and you're not comfortable with video yet, then it's not going to work out. It's just going to be average content. It's going to fall flat. You're going to be demoralized, and it's a never-ending cycle. So just, hone your craft. Get better at creating these type of contents, but just commit to what you can, and it's better to lean on the lower side than the higher side and not live up to it. So if you can do 2, but you end up doing 3, well, good for you, but don't commit to 5 and then end up doing 2. It's not going to work so well.
And it really makes you feel you actually mentally put yourself in a bad place.
Yes.
Because you're like, I keep missing out on these goals, but we all have 20 other things we're doing. Like, listen, we'd be posting way more on YouTube if we didn't have a full agency that we were managing as well, right? Like, so you have to decide, and we decided we can do 1 per week. That's what we can do. If we had more time, maybe we'd do 2 or 3, who knows? But like, we need to make just that one commitment to say we're going to do 1. We're not going to do shorts. We're not going to do anything else right now. We're just going to do this video of 1 per week, because we can commit to that.
Again,
that's our aim. We were bi-weekly last year.
Bi-weekly last year, actually, yes.
And that's what we had to say. We're like, we can only do bi-weekly, but otherwise you trip yourself like up and you get demoralized. Like,
and it did even for us. But everything performed pretty well. You guys are incredibly supportive. But yes, we're trying to take our own advice here and commit to something and put the structures in place to make sure that we can actually achieve that, which is also a part of this. And of course, the final thing here is batch creating. The efficiency that batching allows for you is like, you have to do it. There's not even any other way.
And we actually have a video on that too.
Of course we do.
So if you check out this video here, we run through like our batch creation process. We're probably going to run out of cards, so it'll be in the description box below.
Exactly. So I don't know if I need to go into too much detail on batching, but doing everything at one time. Setting aside one day and creating all the content, planning, for your reels, for your carousels, for the graphic design, for the photo shoots, even if they're not all on one day and they're like, all right, I'm doing photo shoots this day, I'm doing reels this day, I'm doing graphics another day. Whatever works for you, figure it out and make sure you stick to it, because it's going to make the rest of your, month or 2 weeks or whatever you're able to do so much smoother, because then it's just set it and not really forget it, but set it. That's going to save you a lot of time.
Now, the next thing that's going to be so key to your Instagram 2022 strategy is increasing the amount of time spent on posts. Now, this is something that has been very, very clear. If you've watched even certain documentaries that actually aren't supposed to help you optimize your content, but to try to reveal what these platforms want, you will understand that a key marker in terms of what helps people increase their reach, why a post reaches more people, why it's more engaged with, is because it's having people spend more time on that. So what does that look like for you? That means leveraging things like, for example, Reels. A little bit of a trick here is if you have a reel that has a longer caption, but your reel, for example, is only about less than 6 seconds, that reel is going to loop, which is going to include the amount of time spent on the post as people are reading and that reel is looping. Video content in general is great for that because obviously people are spending more time in making sure that that content is entertaining and keeps them to the end. When you think about YouTube, right, retention is super key. So keeping people to the end of the content, and even better if they're repeating and rewatching it. Another piece of content that does really well at keeping people on the platform and on your post for longer are carousels. Particularly, we see a lot of success in the carousel area with tip-based content. So if you're an expert in anything, in any field, you'll definitely want to be leaning into carousels here. And this keeps people obviously on your post longer because they're swiping through. And on top of swiping through, they have to read your caption. So this signals to the algorithm that this piece of content is being interacted with longer. It must be more interesting. So it needs to be sent to more people so that they can repeat this action. The algorithm wants this like predictability, as we all do, right? The algorithm wants to understand and say, okay, if I put this piece of content out based on what we're seeing, people are spending 2 minutes on it versus when they spend 3 seconds on everything else, it needs to go out to more people so we can create that same action again. Yep. So that's why you're going to want to double down in this area. So tip-based carousels are great if you're a photographer or if you're giving day in the life or anything else. Having something where it's a narrative throughout the carousel is super cool because you can also tell people to like check out the last slide for whatever the surprise is, for example. So those are just small examples of things that you can really be implementing into your strategy to keep people on your profile, on your content longer.
Next up is to increase your discoverability, which essentially is your reach. You want more people to find you, to find your content, to find your profile, and there's a whole bunch of ways to do that. One of the most exciting, I guess, or simplest and efficient ways is the new collabs feature, which came out sometime in 2021.
Yeah.
The idea is that I could write a post and I could choose Tiffany's account as my collaborator, and the exact same post, the same images, location tags, caption, hashtags, the whole works, also the tags in the photo, all go to Tiffany's account. We post the exact same image, essentially doubling our reach off the rip.
And double it when we're doing with Reels is great.
Yes.
Because we've been doing this a lot with clients with Reels specifically.
And it's incredible. It's just like, it feels like a cheat code. If it makes sense. It's really good if you're a brand, you're working with an influencer or a creator, you're able to get them to post their initial piece of content and then automatically just goes to your account. They can tag you as a collaborator and boom, it's good to go. It's so efficient. It's just, if you're not using it, give it a try. It's super key. And of course, focus on Reels as much as you can. We've said this before. I hesitate to point because we might be running out, but we've got a Reels video. Maybe we'll put it down there. It could be up there. Who knows? The idea is that Reels is where Instagram is going. They've said exactly as much explicitly on multiple occasions. And, if you're not doing what they're telling you to do, then, what are you doing really? Now, the other thing about Reels that's super key, and it was like a subset of one of our other videos that I don't know if that point really was made strong enough, but the culture behind Reels. It really does have a culture. And I imagine, obviously it's been brought across from TikTok and it's very similar, but you need to understand what you're making. If you're sort of making Reels and not really understanding how to present the information, what's trending or popular, or just the way that people engage with, particularly the more popular Reels, you might struggle to actually create engaging content. So I would definitely recommend to study Reels. Just flick the tabs right there, just keep flicking, and you'll learn a lot about the culture behind it.
Yeah, and that video that you mentioned, we have two, which is great. We have one that's just like the full understanding of Reels and how to use it.
Yes.
And then we have another one about the mistakes, because we've seen people making a ton of mistakes who are missing out on the really great opportunity that Reels is to dramatically increase your reach. And I don't know if this will continue throughout the whole of 2022, so take the opportunity now.
Yes, exactly. The next way is to leverage live rooms. I imagine we've talked about this before, but it's a relatively new-ish feature that came out last year where, on Instagram Live, they actually introduced up to 4 people, so yourself and 3 guests going live on Instagram Live. It's incredible because think about it, you're 4xing your reach immediately.
3xing? Is that the math?
Or maybe is it 3 or is it 4?
Is it 4?
Maybe it is 3.
Because you're the one.
Because you're the one, and then you times it by 3, either way, math, this is not a math channel. You're gonna 3x you're gonna something x your reach. So, it's one of the other cheat codes, particularly, I always encourage a lot of our consulting clients to do this, to be the thought leader, to interview and discuss topics with either peers, colleagues, or even other creators or influencers or brands, whatever it might be. Just set up these conversations, and if you can do them regularly, that's even better. Even if it's once a month, that's money. But the amount of additional reach that comes from this is just crazy, and you're guaranteed to get more followers every time. Like, it's, the more you do it, the more different people you introduce, the better you're gonna do it. If it's the same people over and over, that's cool, and it'll plateau. But if you keep introducing new folks, it's money. Giveaways are another fantastic way to increase your reach. We did a video, it's going to be down there, a couple of years ago about that explains it. But of course, you give anything away, you're going to ask people to enter that contest. There's multiple ways to do it. If you want to do the more hardcore way that's in the video, that's cool. If you're going to do the more simplistic approach, that's going to usually be like the post, tag a friend, all that type of stuff. Either way, you're essentially expanding the reach immediately for the chance to give something away. They are a fantastic, fun way to,
We call them quick wins.
Quick wins.
With clients,
That's
are always quick wins.
There you go.
Yeah.
Say less. Our 3-tag approach is another way to increase discoverability. So we've said that once again, we put the video down there. So that is using hashtags, of course. Once again, hashtag video, explain that in more detail with Instagram's changes from 2021. We're gonna be talking about location tags, of course, particularly if you're a bricks and mortar business, that's very, very important. And of course, account tags or brand tags, whoever is in the image, you make sure you tag them, tag some theme accounts, we'll get to that. And using those 3 things every time, with the bonus being the alt text, which is super key and very underused. That's another great way to make sure you're maximizing every opportunity to get that discoverability, to get that reach. Don't let it slide. It's too easy not to do it.
Yeah, and I want to just also piggyback off what you said, old Clubhouse talk, piggyback off what you said there, because you mentioned like alt text, for example, being super underrated. And if you've noticed now, post optimization, like say this 3-tag approach we're talking about, post optimization is only becoming more and more important in terms of giving Instagram as many details as possible about what the thing you're posting is.
Yeah.
Now that they're serving different content in your feed, even if it's not something you're following. So you probably notice things are coming into your feed, not if you follow them, just because Instagram thinks you'll be interested. The reason that they know you'll be interested in that piece of content is because it has information behind it. It's optimized. So if I click on interior design images, we'll pop up something here. If I click on, and I do save interior design, I just have things coming up in my feeds from different accounts that are just relevant to what I've liked in the past, even if I don't follow the page. So it's such a good opportunity to actually get yourself into new feeds of people, not just the explore page, but actually in their feed when you have your content optimized.
Exactly. Another way to increase your discoverability is via theme accounts. Our next video is actually going to be about theme accounts. So make sure you hit subscribe, hit the like button, so you and the notification bell, so you get alerted about that next video. But a theme account, for people who don't know, are the accounts where someone has created them, and they typically about a theme, about a topic, an industry, or vertical, whatever you want to call it. And the idea is that if you are able to engage with these accounts, they often have quite a large following. They curate images and posts from other creators, and they credit them. And the idea is that if you are a travel photographer and you tag Visit Colorado, the tourism office, and other similar ones, there's a chance, if your work is nice and it suits their page, they're going to take it and repost it and then tag you. And then they sometimes have thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers. Actually, there's a lot of big ones, and then you could get some additional reach and discoverability out of that.
Now, another element of your 2022 Instagram strategy that you're going to want to focus on is increasing shareability. Now, when we say increasing shareability, that means making sure that through your content, you've moved people to share it with others. Because if they share it with others, that means it's going to increase your reach. Additionally, that share metric is a trigger for the algorithm to let them know that your content needs to be served with more people, because it's a meaningful action. So that share, these shares, these saves, these are meaningful actions that let Instagram know that your content is interesting and needs to be distributed further. Now, one of the ways that you can increase shareability is through graphic content, and usually this falls under the inspirational or entertaining categories. And really, this is something that you're really going to want to integrate into your 2022 strategy. The graphic content, you know, if you're on Instagram, how popular this is, whether it be memes, GIFs, quotes, quizzes, fun infographics, those like static posts that just have like cute little tips or things on it. All of these are performing so well because they get widely shared. And the entire point is that your account is the one attached to this, right? So you're going to really want to make sure that you're sharing content that can be widely distributed. And that really just comes from, you know, being creative, looking at what other people are doing in this industry and seeing how you can adapt it to your brand as well. Another way that you can increase your shareability is by hopping on trends. Now, you need to be very quick in this. You can't be like past 3 days trying to
Bernie meme?
I was just thinking about that. I don't know if you guys remember the Bernie meme where he was like sitting with Dan can put it in here for you.
Yeah.
Like, it was so ridiculous. It was hilarious. But like then we saw like brands like 2 weeks later posting it. You can't do that. You got to be jump in right on.
3 days later. Though.
Yeah, it's like
if it
once
wasn't
it's
12
past
hours,
3 days. It's like way too late. Same thing, like the red flag is an example of like a trend that was really popular last year and everybody was using it.
Mostly
but you need to act on it immediately. You can't be waiting, otherwise it becomes stale. If you act on trends quickly though, you get to ride the wave. That's super beneficial on Instagram but on other platforms as well.
Yes.
Relatability is something you really want to focus in on because that's the, oh my gosh, this is so me. That's where you're really seeing like the entertaining content thrive under this category too. But just anything that business owners, doesn't always need to be entertaining, could be educational, could be about your productivity schedule, any of these things that other people can relate to, that's going to make them want to share as well. That's going to have them move to the action that you want them to do. So posting relatable content is key, whether that be through day in the life vlogs or if it be through carousels, images, storytelling through your captions. That type of content is definitely going to get that share. And then overall, when you're talking about content that really gets shared, short form video, back to reels, this is the type of things that you want to really be integrating into your strategy as well.
Yes. Okay, the next key part of your 2022 Instagram strategy is to include calls to action on every post. So really what we're trying to do here is give the audience the instructions for what you want them to do at all times. So, you know, if you've gone through and done all of the things that we've talked about and all of these other points and increase your discoverability and shareability, you're doing all this stuff, but then you're not telling anyone to do anything, it kind of feels like a wasted opportunity. I imagine most people watching here are either entrepreneurs, business owners, maybe social media managers who work for a company. Influencers as well. You always going to want people to do something. Now, that might be following you on other platforms. It might be checking out your website, claiming the promo code, whatever. Watch this video on YouTube, doesn't matter. Always give them a CTA. Maybe even if it's a question, like an engagement question, like drop a rainbow emoji if you agree, or whatever.
Tag a friend who needs to see this.
Yes, exactly. Although they don't really like that as much after that. Remember, tag a friend who needs to drink water.
It got out of hand.
Yeah, that got pretty bad. I respect the hustle. But either way, always include a CTA. Whatever it is, there's always going to be something you want them to do, whether it's more meaningful, like hit the link in your bio, or simple, like tag a friend. Either way, always keep it in mind.
And something that is going to be so key to your 2022 Instagram strategy and beyond is always be testing. Never stop testing, okay? So many things are going to come at us this year, just like they did last year and the year before that. You have to test, and we really want to emphasize that you need to test quickly. If you want to think about all the accounts that really grew last year, they were the ones who immediately said, oh, Reels is popping, I need to get on that ASAP, and I need to find ways to get in on that. Same thing with stories. This always happens. So always test. You don't need to do an exact replica of somebody, you know, like, so pointing and dancing is really popular. If it's not for you, you don't need to do it. But are there other ways that you can use Reels, for example? Don't hesitate. Just jump in, test things, find out what cadence works for you when it comes to posting, find out what content works for you, what does your audience like, what do you like creating, what's getting you the most clicks. This is all a part of testing because that's how you find the right formula. So never stop testing. Don't get too stale. Always keep reinventing as you go.
Exactly.
That's probably the most important thing out of all of this.
And continue to check your insights. It was one of the first.
That's why it was the first point.
Come back and continue to check your insights. Don't just worry about last year. Now, as you're testing this year, keep doing it. It's a never-ending cycle, and that's kind of the whole point of this. There is no magic answer to all of this, and that's what I want to also make clear. Like, there's something that's going to work for one account that's not going to work for the other. And, you know...
You might even find that things that you were doing 3 months ago don't work anymore.
Exactly.
So then you just reinvent and find out what does. Don't get frustrated. Just keep moving. You know, we're here. If you got questions, holler at us, you know.
Exactly.
We always got your back. So... thank you all for coming back to watch another video. If you enjoyed our 2022 Instagram strategy video, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other videos from us. You can follow us everywhere at High Season Co. Check out our blog post at highseasonco.com. And is that all the CTAs?
I think that's all of the CTAs.
That's a slew of CTAs for you guys, all right? We'll see you in the next video.
Peace.